Good morning. Time to make the coffee. Butterscotch and caramel this morning. So I've been up since about 4 o'clock and I decluttered my pajamas and I had a whole drawer full of stockings. I threw a bunch of them away because they've been in there for years and they lose their elasticity. So those are going in the trash. I was going to do my shoes, but I felt a little overwhelmed by that task that early in the morning, so I guess I'll do that later. So anyway, I'm probably going to take a nap later, I'm thinking. Just couldn't fall back asleep. Usually I do, but this morning I couldn't. So I watched a decluttering video on YouTube, and then I decided, well, I might as well get up and do the same. Get things ready for the donation people. I want to make it at least worth their trip if they're going to pick these things up. And my neighbor said she has some stuff for them too, so that's good. And I donate to senior dogs. So I think if you find a charity that means something to you, it's a little bit easier to let your things go. So that's my charity of choice. I use DonateStuff.com, and they come and pick the things up. And they have several charities that you can donate to. That's the one I chose, Senior Dogs. I don't know if you have those in your area, but it might make it a little easier to get rid of some of your clutter. So while I'm going through my clutter this morning, I realized that, oh geez, I just still have way too many clothes. And the nice part is, at least they're in good shape so that I can donate them. So I donated a bunch of t-shirts and a bunch of pajamas, and I have pants in there. So I need to go through my kitchen again too. I've done that within the past year, but I keep going around and around. And then I let go of more and more things. So I don't know if that'll be my declutter project for today or if I'll get a second wind and do a little more. But right now I'm going to enjoy my coffee. Let me have a sip because it's been a long morning so far. Yeah, it's okay. I think it's the chocolate creamer that makes it okay. So I'm going to go sit down and ponder on my day, see what I want to do. I'm still going to continue to eat meals that I already have frozen, or keep it simple anyway. Use up the things in my freezer. So I will be back in a little bit, and I don't know, we'll see what's going on for today. Alright, here's my breakfast this morning, using up what I have. I have some tempeh bacon, a couple of eggs from my daughter, and some potato cakes, and of course coffee. So that's my one meal for today. I'll have another one later. So I spent the morning going over my budget and getting it all set up because I'm trying to play catch up from the beginning of the month. I should have started earlier. And so I'm writing in all my bills and I'm writing in my optional expenditures, and it's like, oh my, very eye-opening. Just like the refrigerator and freezer cook down that I did for a year. So I'm thinking this is my new project. And it takes a long time to form a habit. I think it's 31, 32 days, something like that. And it's something that you have to work on every day, which I plan to do. Because if I focus on something, then first of all, I learn, I become enlightened, I see the error of my ways, or I see what I've done right. So there's a lot of benefits to if you to focus on something if you want to change a habit or even your life. And I think the big mistake that most of us make, and I know I make that mistake, is doing too much at once rather than implementing a little at a time each day and building on that. We're all in, and then we wonder why we fail. Well, it's because it's too overwhelming. I was watching a video and they said they were looking at brain activity and those sorts of things. And they said when you first start doing something, the whole brain is like engaged. Lots of parts of the brain are engaged. Because you have to think about what it is, the steps you want to take, what your goals are, where it is you want to end up. So there's a lot of activity in your brain. And this is sort of how habits are formed, according to the video people. And then once the brain has figured out the steps it needs to take and how it needs to operate, it becomes a habit. And once it becomes a habit, the brain activity lessens and calms down because you don't really have to think about things as much as when you're first trying to start a habit. So I thought that was very interesting, and it made a lot of sense to me. So it's like that saying, everything is hard before it is easy. And that's so true. And that's why, because your brain has to engage, it has to figure out how to do things, what the best situation is. So I'm going to try and form a new habit and just try and daily, at least, even if I don't spend any money or pay any bills on a day, I still want to look in my budget book and maybe check my bank account, whatever it takes, so that every day I have a little bit of an interaction with my finances, because I've never been really good with finances. I mean, I've saved money, I've spent money, I've been in debt, I've been debt-free several times in my life. So I want to get back to being debt-free. And another thing that I was thinking about, and it's something that I'm guilty of, and I'm sure some of you can relate as well. A lot of the things that I have in my home are perfectly fine. They're not worn out. They're not, they suit my style. And so many of us just get tired of things. So we run out and buy something new and donate all the old stuff we have, because this kind of goes hand in hand with the donation part. So I think working the donation, the organizing, and the financing all together as one component is very helpful to me because they all kind of go hand in hand, and it gives you a better understanding of your spending habits, what you get bored with, you know, like, oh, I'm bored with this chair, there's nothing wrong with it, but I want a new chair. So maybe you can just redo the chair, put a new cover on it, stick a nice pillow on it, so you don't have to throw the whole chair out or donate the whole chair. You can do the same thing with all your tchotchkes and things, you know, just refurbish them. So I was thinking, geez, you know, it's such a waste of money to just keep chucking this stuff all the time and you know, because you're bored. So I think finding new hobbies and new habits is a good way to alleviate the boredom. Maybe rearranging your furniture, put the chair that was in your living room that you're tired of, put it in the bedroom. Take something out of the bedroom and put it in the living room. So anyway, this is what I want to do. I don't want to spend a lot of money and replace things that are perfectly fine, perfectly good. So that's a strategy that I want to try, and hopefully I'm going to hold myself accountable and work on this budget and decluttering and not trying not to spend so much money on things that I already have that I'm maybe just bored with. So, I mean, you could even take, if you have an old knit sweater and you have the chair again, I'll use that as an example. You can cut up the old knit sweater and make it into a plushy, cozy pillow and put it on the chair. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit because I'm finding I'm having a lot of aha moments, and actually writing down every penny that I spend and keeping my budget notebook right where I can see it instead of squirreling it away in a cupboard helps me to focus on it. So mine is right here in the kitchen. When I'm having my coffee, I can see it, and that'll make me want to open it up and look in it. Plus, I get satisfaction with giving myself a nice green check mark when I don't spend money for the day. Now, that's not saying I'm never going to buy anything again, but I'm going to buy things that I actually need rather than things that I just buy on a whim. So, I mean, I very rarely buy clothes on the internet because I'm not one that likes to return things. And there are things that I've donated to charity that were brand new. But I try and stay out of the stores that trigger an obsession with buying clothes or something like that. And going through my clothes and my closet and my shoes and just purging a lot of stuff discourages me from buying more, because even if I see a beautiful blouse, you know, and it's like, oh, I'd really like to have that, then I ask myself, now, Ellen, where are you going to wear that? Are you going to wear it in the house? Are you going to wear it out with friends? And even then, you know, it's like, well, geez, you don't really go out with friends that much. It's too fancy to wear just for lunch. So that's about the only thing I do. You know, I'll go to lunch every once in a while, but it's been a very long time since I've done that. because the prices have gotten so expensive. But I can see on my own budget, there's a lot of fat in there that I can cut back on. And I don't need to do it all at once, but you know, as the month progresses, it's like, I didn't even use that this month. Am I going to use it next month? Probably not. And then I can cut it out. So anyway, still drinking my coffee. One of the things I have to organize is my pantry. And I am really, really dreading that. Not this pantry, my long-term pantry. Because it's a mess down there. The basement was so nice. It was all organized. It was, you know, there were things down there. I had like extra decor and things that, you know, I could go down there and say, oh, I'm going to use this in the living room for a while. But a lot of that stuff, I can't even get to it. There's so many boxes and things down there now. Something needs to happen down there. But that's going to be on the list after I do my plant room. All right, well, that's enough talking today. Here's my other buddy. Huh. Hello. What are you doing? Oh, I know. Thank you for the hug. So it's snowing. It's going to be like 40 today, but it's snowing off and on, and then it looks like it's going to snow every day this week. So that gives me a good excuse not to go out. Not that I really need an excuse, but you know, sometimes you get bored and it's like, well, I'm going to go do this or that. But I look out there and it's like, no, I don't want to go out. All right, well, I will be back later. I don't know if I'm going to be doing any more decluttering today. I may just take it easy the rest of the day because I got another garbage bag full of clothes. And so I kind of have to be in the mood to declutter, or else I don't make any progress. All right, well, I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll see what else is going on. Here's what's for dinner tonight. Some ultimate chicken, some French fries from the Dollar Tree. They came right from the freezer. And then finished up the cucumbers, some microgreens, and under there is some iceberg lettuce. That all came from the Flash food box. And I have crispy onions on there and some croutons. So very easy dinner tonight. And I'll be back in a little bit and wrap things up. Okay, well, dinner was simple but good. I'm trying to cook down some of my freezer food now rather than cooking, because I was ending up putting more and more in the freezer and it needs to be eaten up. So for the next little while, I'm going to be eating things out of my freezer. I do still have a few things of produce that I have to cook up. I have a couple of salads and lettuces and things like that. Not a whole lot, but unless a real good box comes up, I'm going to hold off on the Flash Foods for a while and try and cook up what I have and also eat up what I've already frozen in the freezer. So today, after I did all my decluttering and of the drawers at 4 in the morning, I didn't get much else done today. And that's okay. You know, you have days where you make a lot of progress, and I feel like I did this morning, but then I kind of didn't want to do anymore. So that's what I've been doing. I've been working and then resting, and then the cycle repeats itself. So anyway, I really don't have anything else to talk about other than I'm going to work more with my budget and try and make that a habit. Spend less, make that a habit, even though comparatively speaking, I don't spend as much as some people might, but I think I still spend too much. So I want to rein that in, and the only way that I can think of to do that is to actually focus on it and decide what it is that I want to bring into my home. So anyway, all right, my friends, that's all I have for you today. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you. And I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. Thanks for watching.